By me, 38 years old. Senior systems architect The Wizard, that guy in the basement. Been with the company for 12 years. Survived 3 CEO changes, 5 CTOs, and the great server flood of 18. My domain is the server room. It is kept at exactly 64 degrees Fahrenheit. Hum of fans is my white noise. I speak in TCP/IP, SQL, and Bash. Dress code: black hoodie, faded jeans, combat boots. Diet: black coffee, viscosity of crude oil. Nicotine: occasional sandwich eaten over a trash can to avoid crumbs in keyboard. Drive a 2004 Toyota Tacoma. It has 300k miles. It will never die because I maintain it. Just like the infrastructure here, the company mid-sized logistics and supply chain. We move things from point A to point B. We do it fast. We do it with a legacy backend that looks like spaghetti written in C++ and ancient Java. It is ugly. It is terrifying to look at. But it works. 99.999% uptime. Throughput: 50,000 transactions per second. Latency: sub-millisecond. I built the core routing engine myself 8 years ago. It is a finely tuned engine of logic and math. It does not care about your feelings. It does not care about your gender identity. It cares about packet integrity and checksums. Enter the antagonist. New VP of Digital Transformation and People Ops. Name: Jessica. Background: sociology degree, MBA from a pay-to-win university. Previous experience: HR director at a failed fashion startup. Appearance: power suits in pastel colors, aggressive manicures, constantly holding an iPhone 15 Pro Max like a weapon. Vocabulary: synergy, holistic, optics, toxic, vibe, space. She doesn't know what a server is. She thinks the cloud is a literal cloud. She was hired to modernize the culture and the stack. Week 1. Jessica tour the office. Comes down to the basement. Wrinkles her nose. It's so dark down here and loud. I don't look up from my triple monitor setup. It's a server room, servers like dark and cold. She looks at my terminal. Green text on black background. Is that code? It looks so aggressive, so exclusionary. I blink. It's a log file, Jessica. It's listing failed login attempts. She writes something in her notebook. We need to brighten this place up. Open floor plan, collaboration. The servers are bolted to the floor. They don't collaborate, they process. She leaves. I have a bad feelings. I back up my workstation. I verify my offsite backups. Paranoia is a survival trait. Week 3. All hands meetings. Jessica is on stage. Slide deck is full of stock photos of diverse people laughing at salads. We are pivoting, she announces. The old way is stale, it's rigid, it's patriarchal. I sip my coffee. We are moving to a holistic, AI-driven, no-code, blockchain-enabled ecosystem. The buzzword density is critical. My eye twitches. She points to a diagram. It shows the cloud connected to happy customers with an arrow labeled magic. We will be retiring the legacy core by Q4. The room claps. I do not clap. The legacy core handles $40 million in freight daily. Retiring it by Q4 is physically impossible. It is currently August. The meeting. I am summoned to the glass bowl, executive conference room. Jessica sits at the head of the table. Beside her is Kyle. Kyle is the new director of engineering she hired. Kyle is 26. Kyle wears Yeezys and a t-shirt that says Crypto King. Kyle's resume lists React Native and prompt engineering. He has never managed a database larger than an Excel sheet. Jessica smiles. It is a predator's smile. Anon, we need you to hand over the keys to the kingdom. Excuse me. Kyle is going to lead the migration. We're moving everything to Azure Functions and Mongo. I feel a headache forming behind my eyes. Jessica, our transaction volume requires raw TCP sockets. HTTP overhead alone will crash the system. Azure Functions have cold start times. We need real-time determinism. Kyle laughs. Bro, that's such boomer energy. Serverless is the future. It scales infinitely. It scales your bill infinitely. It doesn't scale latency. Jessica interjects. Anon, you're being negative. This is exactly the toxicity we're trying to root out. You're gatekeeping. I'm not gatekeeping, I'm doing math. Physics doesn't care about your optics. We don't need physics, she says. We need agility. I stare at her. I realize I am talking to a wall. A wall painted with inspirational quotes. Fine, I say, send me the architecture specs. The specs arrive. It is a disaster. It is a crime against computer science. They want to replace a compiled C++ binary with a chain of JavaScript microservices. They want to route critical financial data through a third-party API that has 99% uptime. In logistics, 99% means we lose 3 days a year. That is millions of dollars. They want to replace the SQL database with a document store because schema is oppressive. I write a 40-page technical document explaining why this will fail. I cite bandwidth limits. I cite disk I/O bottlenecks. I cite CAP theorem. I send it to Jessica, Kyle, and the CTO. Subject: urgent risk assessment of migration plan. The response: Jessica replies, reply all. Anon, thank you for your feedback. However, we feel this document is overly technical and aggressive. We need you to be a team player, trust the process, trust Kyle. The CTO is silent. The CTO is a coward who wants his stock options to vest. I realize what is happening. I am being set up. If I fight, I am toxic and resistant to change. If I help, I am complicit in the disaster. There is only one path: malicious compliance. The twist: preparation. I go home. I dig through my filing cabinet. I find my original employment contract from 12 years ago. I was hired as a contractor first, then converted to FTE. There is a clause in the IP assignment section. Clause 14b. Employee retains intellectual property rights to any tools, libraries, or utilities created prior to full-time employment, or created on personal equipment outside of company hours, even if licensed to the company for use. I smile. 10 years ago, I wrote a custom kernel module called Watchdog. It manages the memory allocation for the routing engine. Without it, the engine leaks memory like a sieve and crashes in 4 hours. I wrote it on my laptop on a weekend before I was FTE. I have the git commit logs to prove it. The company has a license to use it, but the license is revocable if my employment is terminated without cause, or if I resign due to hostile work environment. Also, the module has a heartbeat key. It requires a cryptographic signature every 30 days. Only I have the private keys. If the signature is missing, the module disables the routing engine to prevent data corruption. I call it the dead man's switch. I never told anyone because no one ever asked how the memory management worked. They just liked that the dashboard was green. The slide into chaos. September. Kyle hires a team of consultants. They are expensive. They sit in beanbag chairs and drink kombucha. They write code that looks like it was generated by a drunk LLM. They deploy to a dev environment. It crashes immediately. Kyle blames the firewall. Anon, open up port 0 through 65,535. Kyle, that is everything. That is a security nightmare. Jessica emails, Anon, stop blocking the team. Give them what they need. I forward the email to the CISO, Chief Information Security Officer. The CISO is on vacation. I print the email to PDF. I save it to my private drive. Understood. Opening ports. I open the ports on the dev VLAN only. The consultants get hacked within 6 hours. They mine crypto on the company's servers. Jessica blames me. You didn't protect the environments. You ordered me to remove the protection. Here is the email. She glares at me. You're being difficult. October. The new system is 20% complete and 400% over budget. It consumes more RAM than Chrome. It drops 1 in 10 packets. Kyle says it's eventual consistency. I say it's packet loss. He says let's agree to disagree. You cannot disagree with TCP/IP. It is not a debate. It is a protocol. Jessica announces launch day. Black Friday, the busiest day of the year. We will flip the switch at midnight, a new dawn for the company. I raise my hand in the meeting. If you do this, we will lose all tracking ability within 15 minutes. Jessica sighs. Anon, stop spreading fear. We have done unit tests. Unit tests are not load tests. Have you simulated peak traffic? We used an AI simulator. So you guessed. We are moving forward. You are either on the bus or under it. I nod. Okay, I will prepare the cutover. The exit strategy. November 15th. 2 weeks to Black Friday. I begin to pack my desk. I wipe my personal data. I update the documentation. The documentation is perfect. It explains exactly how to run the old system. It explains nothing about the new system because I didn't build it. I check the watchdog signature. It expires on November 30th. Perfect timing. I draft my resignation letter. I do not send it yet. The final warnings. November 20th. I send one last email to the CEO, CTO, and Jessica. Subject: formal risk acceptance Black Friday migration. I am formally stating that the new architecture is unfit for production. It cannot handle the concurrency load of Black Friday. Estimated failure time, 1 hour. Estimated financial loss, $5 m per hour. I advise delaying launch. Jessica replies within minutes. Your negativity is noted. We are proceeding. Please ensure you are on-site for support. I print this email too. I put it in my backpacks. Black Friday, the high noons. Midnight, the war rooms. Pizza boxes everywhere. Kyle is wearing a headset looking important. Jessica is drinking champagne. 3, 2, 1 launch. They switch the DNS entries. Traffic starts hitting the new Azure cluster. 12:05 a.m. Dashboard is green. See, Jessica sneers at me, you were wrong. 12:10 a.m. Traffic ramps up. East Coast distribution centers come online. 12:15 a.m. Latency spikes from 20 ms to 400 ms. Kyle types furiously. Just auto-scale it, spin up more nodes. Azure spins up more nodes. The database connection pool is exhausted. Error 503, service unavailable. 12:20 a.m. The system enters a death spiral. The new nodes try to reconnect, DDoSing the database. The AI logic starts hallucinating. It routes a shipment of frozen fish to a warm storage facility in Arizona. It marks 5,000 trucks as missing. 12:30 a.m. Phones start ringing. Operations managers are screaming. Where is the manifest? Drivers are stuck at the gate. Jessica looks pale. Kyle, fix it. Kyle is sweating. I don't know, it works on my machine. It's the cloud provider. Azure is down. I check status Azure.com. Azure is fine. Our code is garbage. The CEO storms in. We are losing $100,000 a minute. What is happening? Jessica points at me. Anon sabotaged it. He never supported the project. The room turns to me. I am sitting in the corner eating a bagel. I am calm. I did not touch the new system. I was told to stay away. I have the emails. Then fix it, the CEO screams. Roll back, revert to the legacy core. The twist. I can do that, I say, but there is a complication. I stand up. I walk to the whiteboard. The legacy core requires the Watchdog module to run on this hardware. So turn it on. I can't. My license to use that software is contingent on my continued employment and a non-hostile work environment. Silent. What are you talking about? Jessica screeches. Whatever code you wrote belongs to the company. I pull out the contract. I pull out the binder of emails. Clause 14b, I own the IP, you have a license. I slap the resignation letter on the table. And as of right now, I resign due to a hostile work environment created by Jessica and Kyle. Harassment, professional disparagement, and ignoring safety protocols. Therefore, your license is revoked effective immediately. If you turn on the legacy core without my signature key, it will lock itself to prevent data corruption. It is a safety feature. The CEO reads the contract. His face goes purple. He looks at Jessica. She is trembling. You can't do this. I just did. You have a choice. You can let the new system burn, which will bankrupt the company by Monday, or you can negotiate. The negotiation. 1:00 a.m. The company is bleeding cash. Trucks are idling. The CEO asks everyone else to leave the room. Just me and him. What do you want? Jessica and Kyle are fired. Immediately, security walks them out now. Done. I want a consulting contract. Independent contractor, not an employee. Rate. $500 per hour. Minimum 1,000 hours guaranteed, prepaid. He chokes. That's $500,000. You're losing that every 5 minutes right now. He signs. And one more thing, I want full autonomy. No one touches the server room but me. No digital transformation unless I approve it. Fine, just fix it. The fix. 1:15 a.m. I verify the wire transfer on my phone. Money is in the bank. I sit down at my terminal. I open a terminals. Sudo systemctl stop new garbage service. Sudo systemctl start legacy core. I insert my UBA key. I execute the signing script for the Watchdog module. Signature valid, Watchdog active. Routing engine starting. Transactions 0s. Transactions 1000s. Transactions 50,000s. The dashboard turns green. The phones stop ringing. The hum of the fans returns to normal. The warehouse managers radio in. We're back online, gates are opening. The aftermath. Jessica was escorted out by security. She was crying about equity and lawsuits. Kyle tried to take his beanbag chair. Security didn't let him. The CEO issued an apology to the shareholders. Blamed vendor mismanagement. I went back to the basement. I replaced the locks. I brewed a fresh pot of coffee. The system is humming. It is ugly. It is old. It is written in C++. But it works. I check my bank accounts. $500,000 balance. I browse eBay for upgrading my Tacoma. Maybe I'll buy a new alternator. Maybe I'll buy a boat. I put my headphones on. Synthwave plays. I open the log files. Green text flows like a waterfall. Pace. Silent. Efficiency. Physics 1. Epilogue 6 months later. The company is profitable again. They hired a new CTO. He is an old guy with a gray beard. He wears suspenders. He came down to the basement yesterday. Looked at the rack. AS400, he asked. Virtualized on Linux Blade servers, I replied. He nodded. Good, don't touch it. I won't. We drank coffee in silence for 20 minutes. Best meeting I've ever had. Technical addendum, why it failed for the archives. Kyle's team used a synchronous REST API for inventory checks within the transaction loop. ON complexity, where N is the number of items in the cart. Combined with network I/O latency, AVG50 ms. A cart with 20 items took 1 second to validate. 50,000 transactions per second x 1 second hold time. Thread pool exhaustion happened in 0.4 seconds. No caching layers. No circuit breakers. They tried to use MongoDB for ACID transactions without proper sharding. Write locks piled up. Deadlock detected. Kernel panic. My system uses a memory-mapped binary tree. O-log ends lookup. Zero network I/O for validation. Local cache synced via UDP multicast. Validation takes 0.00001 seconds. This is why we don't use Python for high-frequency trading. This is why we don't let tourists touch the engine. End of log. BMEs later that night. Driving home in the Tacomas. Check engine light comes on. Pull over. Pop the hood. It's a loose sensor wire. Tape it up. Light goes off. Pat the dashboard. Good girls. Simple systems. Maintainable systems. No cloud. No buzzwords. Just metal and spark. Life is good.